Back here on Beyond the Podium Vote 2020, and we are very lucky to be joined by Representative Mike Caruso, representing District 89, Coastal Palm Beach County. Representative Caruso, thank you so much for taking the time.
Great to join you guys. My honor.
So I know you grew up in the D.C. area. I grew up in the Northeast, and well, it doesn't matter where Jay grew up. What was it like growing
Connecticut.
up? Oh, Connecticut. Yeah, right. What's it like growing up in D.C.? I mean, do you just feel drawn to the political spectrum when you grow up in Washington, D.C.?
Not as a kid, but you certainly are tied into all the protests and all the marches and all that stuff. And I don't know how it is throughout. That's what I grew up with. So I don't know how it is around the rest of the country, but it was anytime you went down to the mall, there was always something going on. And it gave you insight as to really what was happening throughout the country and throughout the world. Even as a kid, when I got into college, back then it was in the time of the Iranian uprising and the hostage situation. It was part of our lives because they were marching right outside our dorm rooms even. So I went to George Washington University, downtown DC. And so it was, you lived it. And it was pretty exciting. It was pretty exciting, to say the least.
Did you feel like at one point you were going to get drawn in your lifetime into the political spectrum, or did you think that wouldn't be you?
No, I never thought it. I never had any thoughts or ambitions or anything like that to get into politics. Never. And in fact, I got into this seat. I got a phone call from Mayor Glickstein, Delray Beach at the time, asking me to run for the city commission. And soon after, I think I had just registered. I said, Mayor, you turned it into a full-time job. It doesn't pay anything, and I'm a CPA, and I'm busy. I got 7 kids, I can't do that. And he says, Caruso, the city needs you. And he actually called me coach because we coached Little League together for many years. So I signed up with the city clerk's office, and about an hour, the next day, I get a phone call asking me, don't run for the city commission. We want you to run for the Florida House of Representatives. And now I'm here.
And of course, 2 years ago, you went through quite the election, came down to just a few dozen votes. What was it like going through that and then going through the appeal? Because through your history, you've seen lots of elections, but it very rarely comes down to something that close.
No, 32, almost. I think it was 80-something thousand total voters voted in that race, and I won by 32 votes. And understand, during the campaign, I always thought I was in the lead. And when I walk into my victory party, I'm 4,000 votes down, and everybody's glum. And my campaign manager walks up and says, Mike, there's still a chance. And you go, that's when you got 200 of your friends there, that's not what you want to hear from your campaign manager, And so as the night went on, we slowly worked our way through and fought back, I guess, and the numbers kept coming in. And finally, with the last precinct, it put me over the top by 276 votes, I think it was. So I went to bed that night thinking I'd won by 276 votes. And then I got a phone call at 6 a.m. saying, hey, it's time to, where are you? You need to be at the recount. I'm like, I'm a novice. It's my first election. I don't know, so I had a nice night's sleep, fortunately. And after that, I don't think I slept for 2 weeks, till I got sworn in. So, and my lead just kept getting whittled down to where finally the SOE Booker came to me and she says, Representative Caruso, congratulations. You won by 32 votes. So here I am.
They tell us, and we say it on the news, every vote counts. Make sure you go out and vote. Yeah, I'd imagine you have a whole different appreciation to that. And I'm curious, over the last 2 years, do you think about that every person you meet, every handshake, every mailer, every sign could be the one vote that matters at the end.
Absolutely. That's exactly how it is. And you know, you get you know, groups that you know, that go, Mike, we were all in for you, and you're standing there in a room and it's got 40 people in it and they all voted for you, and you're like, yeah, without you guys I wouldn't have been here, so thank you, and let's get out there and do it again, because it's gonna be another close race, another close race.
So is it easier or harder, this time around, now that you have gone through the race one more time, but now you are facing the same man again, who's spent the last 2 years preparing, that he knows he only needs 33 more this time around. How is it different this time around?
Different. Well, you know, I've had the opportunity to serve the people of District 89, and which runs from Boca Raton to Singer Island along the eastern coastline. Um, and so I hope my work, you know, stands for who I am and not just my words. Last time I was running on my, you know, my promises, my words, and this time I'm running on what I've accomplished in the Florida House and what I've done for the people of District 89, and hopefully that rings loud and clear, and that they'll, you know, they'll turn to me and cast a vote in my direction. So that we don't have the 32 votes. If I win by 32, I'm a happy man. Win by one, I'm a happy man. I'll be a little stressed, but you know, it'll still be a good time.
What can you point to in your legislative record over these last 2 years that you think is kind of a differentiating factor for you?
I would say that the biggest thing, Jay, is that I would say that you know, I'm a moderate, and I've worked from the day one. I turned to my colleagues that sit behind me in the Florida House, because minority party sits behind me. I'm in the last row of the of majority party, um, and my Palm Beach County uh, members sit behind me, and I turned to them. I said, you know, if I can help you guys, we're all Palm Beach County. If I can help you in any way with a bill or an appropriation, you know, come and see me, and I'll you know, if good legislation is good legislation, no matter if it's blue or red, and and I think that's what differentiates me or has me stand out among my other colleagues up there in Tallahassee. I don't I don't I don't play the hard party line at all. I'm just looking to serve the people, and I try to be actually be the liaison between minority members and the Florida and the leadership in the House, the Republican leadership, and that's, you know, I ran appropriations for Tina Polsky, who's now running for Senate. I ran appropriations for Emily Schlossberg, you know, and these were 8 miles outside my district. They were going to help. They weren't going to help me, but you know what? In fact, I got a call on those two particular appropriations. I get a call from the governor's office, and he's asking me. He says, Mike, tell me about these two appropriations 8 miles outside your district. I'm sitting, you know, they're sitting there with the veto pen, and you know, the red veto pen, and and I go, oh, they're on to me, you know. I you know, and I tell them about these programs. They help those with Down syndrome, all ends of the spectrum. They teach them job skills, give them jobs, give them a paycheck at the end of the week. It builds their self-esteem. It changes their lives. It changes their caretakers' lives. There's 500 individuals and families affected by these two appropriations, and I'm asked, how much do you want these appropriations? You know, and I go, well, I'll tell you this: you've got 35 million, $36 million of appropriations in front of you. You can veto all 35 million of them if you give me these two. And they go, that's suicide, political suicide. Why would you do that, Representative? I said, because those 500 individuals in West Boca with Down syndrome and these programs need Florida's money more than any of the other Floridians going to be served by the other 35 million. And so if it means I lose all 35 million and I get this one, I'm all in. And in the end, they went, we got you covered. And they approved those appropriations, and along with a bunch of my others, I didn't lose all 35 million either. But I think what it does is, when it's about the people, it's not about, Republican or Democrat. It's just about doing work for the people of the state of Florida. So that's what differentiates me more than anybody.
Schlossberg, Polsky, you just listed off two colleagues who would like to see a coronavirus special session. Would you?
I mean, coming up?
Yeah, just starting a special session to deal with. I know that we didn't have it in the past when everybody wanted it in terms of dealing with unemployment, things of that nature. Do you think that we need to get in front of this before March?
Oh, long before. We need to do it. When we get sworn in, I think we should go to special session that week. That's, I really do. I think it's important we address. Everything's opened up now, based on the governor's latest, edit. Everything's opened up. Schools are open. Businesses are open. We're going to feel the effect of that right after the election, about the time of the election, or November 3rd, November 5th, whenever we get back. We will know the impact if we have a spike. And at that point, we'll need to address coronavirus. We'll need to address unemployment again. And in fact, unemployment needs to be addressed even if we don't have a spike. We need to fix that system. It's too cumbersome. It's too difficult for people to navigate. I personally, my staff and I, we've helped about 1,000 people get their unemployment who are just stuck. They just couldn't get it done. So we've taken it on our shoulders to help anybody that calls. And I would say out of the 1,000 cases that we've dealt with, we only have maybe 4 or 5 pending right now.
All right, I've got 6 minutes. I've got 2 big questions. In this proposed theoretical special session after everyone's sworn in, are we just focusing on coronavirus in your estimation, or do you want to focus on the governor's criminal justice push as well?
Well, I think we're going to end up focusing on coronavirus, criminal justice, and the budget. Right in that special session, I think it'll be all 3 things. I think we need to. We can't wait till March. We have to make adjustments now.
My last one for you is, you guys, your race is getting statewide but also national attention because of course, the location of the president's residence and the idea that it was so razor thin before.
Right.
This is just a politics question now, it's not a policy one. Is that tough to run a race with that many eyeballs on you? Now, there's money to be had there in a positive, but also in a negative, there's a lot of hands in the cookie jar, possibly.
Hands in the cookie jar for certain. I try not to get caught up in the publicity of the race or the endorsements of the race. I think this race is going to be won by hard work and connecting with the people. And I think that's where it is. And so we've knocked on 24,000 doors already. We'll hit another 20,000 doors before it's done. We've got TV, we've got, social media, mailers, and we're out there, well, I'd say we're out there shaking hands and kissing babies, but we're not doing either of those. We're out there, talking to the people and working with the people. And I just keep my head down and keep marching forward. Interestingly enough, I just was able to get a full pardon for one of our constituents here in Palm Beach County, Patrick Adolfi. And that hearing people go, oh, timing was nice, Mike. because it ended up getting some decent publicity. That hearing was supposed to go off in April, and then it was supposed to go off in May, and then it was supposed to go off in July, and it just kept getting put off one month after the next, and it happened to be in September. I would have, for Patrick's sake, I would have wished it was back in April. He could already be a police officer now, but it did get put off. So that I think what that exemplifies is I just keep my head down. I keep doing the work for the people of District 89, and let my actions speak for who I am.
On that same vein, do the people in your district like having the president live there? Do they, can they get beyond the headaches of when he's in town and the roads get shut down, or do they enjoy the fact that they can say the president lives right down the street? Does having President Trump in District 89 help you?
I think that it does. I think it frustrates most people. There's a certain group of my constituents that just get all excited about it, and they're out there waving flags and signs and all that stuff. I've and I see it. I understand. It's the president of the United States. It's a big deal. But for most individuals down here, none of us are really starstruck in that respect. And so whether we have, movie stars sitting in downtown Del Rey or political figures in Boca Raton or the president in Mar-a-Lago, most of us would rather have our streets opened up and be able to get a table at a restaurant and without the fanfare.
Representative Mike Caruso, running for re-election in District 89. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate the time.